When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today. Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Glad you're with us on this very overcast day in Hampton Roads. This is Sports Scene Live every Wednesday from 12 to 1 Eastern right here on this April 8th. For more, log on to tunein.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer, live on 1650 AM. Lock it in. Tell your friends. Sports Scene airs every Wednesday from 12 to 1. Also, sports highlights, an interview show as well on nnpstv.com. This is your home for CBS News, folks. The most consistent news is CBS News at the top of the hour. Tell your friends about 1650 WHKT on Facebook and Twitter. On Twitter, follow me at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. And all of that's available right there on the homepage of GJBTV.com. Thank you to our military. Great guest lineup as well today, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. That's HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, and visit today. Phone line presented by Fink's Car Care with two great locations on the south side. And, of course, GJBTV.com and HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com sponsors as well. Gearing up for the NBA playoffs coming up soon. Congratulations to Duke in the men and UConn in the women for winning the national championship. Of course, Major League Baseball is now underway, so a lot going on. Thanks to our great sponsors in the month of April, Me Hogar, Fink's, LoveMyMover.com, Chucho's, Crawl Space, Spaghetti Eddies, and Newport News Greek Festival. Save the date for the Newport News Greek Festival, May 28th to May 31st. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org, as well as the Norfolk Greek Festival coming up too as well. And of course, the Dr. Mary V. Bicouvaris Memorial Tennis Tournament coming up April 15th at 5 o'clock right there on Tax Day at Peninsula Catholic High School in Newport News. Come out and see some good tennis. BlueSushiCafe.com as well. So a lot coming up right here on Sports Scene. And hello to Taqueria Mi Rincon Latina at 3228 South Military Highway in Chesapeake. Authentic Mexican food, tacos, gorditas, enchiladas, carne asada, sopas, tripas, open for lunch, dinner, late night, $4.99 specials. Give them a call at 337-8960. That's Taqueria Mi Rincon Latina. Stay tuned. Great guests coming up. Lock it in right here on 1650 on the AM dial, as well as tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Along with Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. This is Sports Scene right here at 12:09. We'll be back after these messages. Mark your calendar for May 28th to May 31st. The Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy Greek food, desserts, beverages, dancing, entertainment, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the signature event of the year in Hampton Roads. The Greek Festival is located at 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
The place on the peninsula for traditional home-style Mexican food is Chucho's and Oyster Point. Cinco de Mayo is right around the corner, and everybody's looking forward to indulging in fajitas, burritos, seafood dishes, and the best tacos around. Chucho's has all the Mexican favorites. It's a dining destination. Visit them at 605 Pilot House Drive in Newport News in the Oyster Point section for a delicious lunch and dinner. Folks, you gotta try it. Experience the flavor of Chucho's today.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
All right, getting a little energy up here for this Wednesday midweek right here in Hampton Roads, 10,000 watt voice, News Talk 1650. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer by going to tunein.com. Pretty much every show now has got a national platform, international platform with the tunein.com app, or just go on your computer if you don't have it on your phone as well. Well, Duke won the national championship. So did UConn and the women, but having a very good year, going to the Final Four in the NIT. The Old Dominion Monarchs and Jeff Jones. Let's welcome the voice of ODU, Ted Alexander. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Greg?
Very good, Ted. First of all, let's get your thoughts on the national championship games just most recently. First for Duke and UConn. What a great Final Four for both those teams.
Yeah, obviously, record-setting viewership for the men's game, Duke and Wisconsin. Great defense, shows that great defense can win you championships no matter what the sport. And Duke really put the clamps on Wisconsin, making the Badgers look bad offensively after they had that 9-point lead with like 12 minutes to go. And the freshmen just being aggressive, taking it to the basket, creating contact and creating chances for them. You got to give Duke credit.
Yep, and for UConn and the women, it's a dynasty that Gino Auriemma has built, almost like John Wooden. He just keeps on winning no matter what the talent level is.
Folks in Hampton Roads understand the value of championships and the value of good women's basketball play with the history at Old Dominion. But as a Connecticut native, I can tell you that the Lady Huskies have really brought out the fans and turned a lot of non-fans into basketball fans in the Nutmeg State. And what a dynasty for Gino. 10 championships. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, before we get the meat and potatoes of Old Dominion sports here, of course, a lot of the talk, Ted, was the referees for the Final Four for the men, and also the just the chatter about Duke being young. But so what? Duke has won with young and old both under Coach K. He's won 5 championships. But the referee talk was a little bit too much, I thought.
I thought, too. I thought I was a little bit disappointed. I was pulling for Wisconsin in the game, quite honestly, Greg. Mm-hmm. And I was a little disappointed in Bo Ryan's post-game stuff. He wasn't quite as gracious in defeat as you perhaps would have liked, but he was frustrated just coming off a huge opportunity for his team to win its first championship, since 41. And I could understand the frustration. I just wished, as a fan, he had been a little bit more gracious and admitted that maybe Duke won the game. You can't blame it on the refs.
Talking to Ted Alexander, the voice of the Monarchs. We've had him on Sports Scene when I worked at the game. He worked at Channel 3 for several years. And, of course, Ted, first of all, as the voice of the Monarchs, do you see it differently now as the voice of the Monarchs as opposed to when you worked at Channel 3 and were covering the Monarchs? How is it different? I know you always wanted the home teams to do well, but how is it different now for you years later?
Well, it's nice. You get to know the coaches and the players and the administrative staff a lot better. They're my colleagues now, and so you've got much more of a vested interest in the outcome. You sort of live and die more with every victory and defeat, and it's a lot of fun. You don't get the variety of different teams like I did when I was at Channel 3, but I'm telling you, nothing wrong with rooting for Old Dominion. Yeah,
before we get into football, it's hard to believe that, Jeff Jones has done so well. He brought the ACC pedigrees, a lot of former Virginia assistants, but let's talk about it. You've seen the highs and the lows. I guess the lows were 2 years ago, but the highs were Final Four of the NIT and really a lot of excitement on national TV, especially in March.
Several games at the TED. True value to be a number 1 seed in the NIT because you get the 3 straight home games. And Monarch Nation, for those games in the last couple of the regular season, just came out en masse and were really a factor for Old Dominion in those games. And it's kind of neat to see. A lot of people poo-pooed the hiring when Jeff was first announced in the press conference because maybe he wasn't as flashy or as sexy a pick as some others. But you know what? As I said that day and have said ever since, the proof's in the pudding, and the pudding for Jeff Jones in his 2 years has been tasting pretty good.
Yeah, and Jeff is a basketball junkie. He played at Virginia, coached at American. He wasn't looking for a quick fix. He's a very consistent guy, whether he was at Virginia, American, and he plans on staying at Old Dominion. This is a sustaining head coach, in my opinion.
You bring up the word consistent, Greg, and that's the key thing. Highs aren't too high, lows aren't too low, and that's the message he has not only for those of us around the team, but to the team itself. And when they see sort of an even-handed hand on the tiller, it makes going through down spots much more easy to get out of, because those holes aren't so deep.
Talking to Ted Alexander right here on Sports Scene Live on the radio here at 1216 News Talk 1650. Your home for CBS News, as well as TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT. And Ted, you saw it early, way back in the fall, remnants of this team when they beat, Richmond, they beat VCU and LSU, 3 solid teams that all went in the postseason.
Yeah, no doubt about that, and you could tell that the non-conference season, although they got to play a lot of home games, they were playing very well against some of the top teams. So they took care of that kind of business, and it was great to see that although they had a bit of a lull in the middle of the year, they really stepped on the gas late in the year and ended up having a great 27-8 run. Yeah,
let's talk about the roster a little bit. Whether you talk about Mosley, Freeman, Arledge, who went to my school at George Mason, transferred, Baycoat and Baker, the local guys, no matter what person maybe had a slump, there was always somebody, Ted, it seemed like, to fill that gap.
But yeah, and the stick-to-itiveness, and when they play good defense, and we saw that, of course, from Duke in the Final Four. When you play good defense, your offense doesn't have to be clicking at A level every single game, and the Monarchs did that, giving up this 57 points a game, holding opponents to 40% shooting. That's going to keep you in every contest. And as you heard on the broadcast or the telecast of that game against Stanford, even though they fell behind by 21 points in the first 10 minutes of that game, the defense, and they hung in there and they kept battling, and that's a great sign of a Jeff Jones team.
Along with Ken Johnson, this is Sports Scene on News Talk 1650, talking to Ted Alexander. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us right here at 1217. I guess, Ted, the biggest things for the offseason, of course, he's got a good recruiting class, Coach Jones does, but I guess try to get the guys, and especially come next fall, is to try to get a little bit more tougher on the road and in neutral sites. And, of course, I know that eats up at you and Dave both when y'all were doing the games, was y'all were so close to the team.
Well, you just want to get better, have everybody get a little bit better, get a little bit stronger, a little bit more savvy. Maybe try practice a couple of free throws here and there, and just stick to the program, because it's proven over the past 2 years that the program and the plan that Coach Jones puts in there works. So if you stick to the program and stick to your off-season regimen, you'll be in good shape.
Ted, let's talk about Old Dominion as well. It's been a lot of evolving the last several years for some of the people that just moved back in the area, or the people on the holidays or vacation. It is spring break. That Old Dominion was a fixture in the CAA. Of course, that league is nowhere was what it used to be. Of course, with VCU out and George Mason out and Old Dominion out, and of course Richmond's out as well. They're in the A10. But it seemed like a lot of those schools that went to the A10, like VCU, have really capitalized on that. What are your thoughts about the Conference USA? A lot of the critics say it's great for football, not for basketball, because football is easy to plan, Ted. It's once a week, home or away. It's not that difficult. Basketball, as you know, those road trips can be daunting, and some of the rivalries just aren't there that some of the schools around here recognize, or the alumni. But the good thing is Coach Jones is definitely getting the non-conference schedule with teams that people do recognize.
Well, before it was the conference games in the CAA were close, and the non-conference took you a little bit off the beaten path. Now it's the opposite.
Sure.
Conference USA, we're the northernmost outpost, and to get to UTEP, it takes some doing, and that's why at least in the last 2 years we've had travel partners, and you're either on the road Thursday, Saturday, or you're home Thursday, Saturday. And if it was the CAA was crumbling, but and when you have the Virginia Commonwealth and the George Masons leaving, what are you left with? Some great rivalries and rivals, but what are they going to do for you on the national stage and in terms of recruiting and those types of things? And it was the type of thing where with football coming and wanting to get to the FBS level at some point, the opportunity came up maybe a little sooner than a lot of folks imagined, but you had to jump at the point, because at that time there was a thought that maybe there'd be some type of moratorium on anybody moving from 1AA up to 1A. So they had the opportunity, jumped toward it, and are off to the races in the CUSA.
Yeah, as an alumni of George Mason, even though I grew up here in Virginia Beach and Newport News, they have not done well in the A10. Of course, you saw their former coach, Larinaga, runner-up in the NIT, who coached Coach Jones at Virginia when he was an assistant with Terry Holland. So it just seems like you get a good head coach, you get a good roster, and let the rest take care of itself, and that's what Old Dominion sees. And I see a really bright future. How about you, Ted?
Certainly, no doubt about that. And again, the team's getting better and up and down in the different sports as well. As we start gravitating toward football a little bit, going even Steven 4-4 in their first Conference USA season. You have to understand that some of the programs you're playing, whether it be football or basketball or whatever the sports, have been locked in at that level for a long, long time. And the Monarchs are still doing the transition thing, and to try and sort of transition and rebuild and maintain at the same time is very difficult, and we'll see how it goes come 2015, 2016.
Right, and we're talking to Ted Alexander right here. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us right here on Sports Scene on News Talk 1650. We'll touch baseball and football in just a second, but, Karen Barefoot, who is from Newport News, of course, she did make the postseason again. She did beat Virginia in the WNIT, and, of course, it's no laughing matter. She got over 20 wins, and, of course, I know she wants to improve as well, but like you said, it's a work in progress when you're new coaches.
Work in progress. One of the transfers she brought in, Jenny Sims, had a simply fabulous year for the Lady Monarchs, first team All-Conference USA. And you put parts like that together, you get everybody believing, you get everybody understanding their roles, and that's how you build some consistency. I mean, I think the biggest problem for the Lady Monarchs is sometimes they were inconsistent offensively and defensively. And, of course, every team would love to be consistent every night out, and it's hard. But I think as the season wore on, they got better and better.
Yeah, Ted, before we talk about football and baseball a little bit, the fan experience has definitely changed. Even when you were covering TV and radio several decades ago, just like I have, you never saw fans sitting at courtside next to you and me at a game or having that type of access like in the NBA or college. What are your thoughts about the access for fans? And, of course, social media has totally blown up and changed that entire fan experience.
In some ways good, in some ways bad.
Sure.
I mean, in some places you got a lot of people looking at their device rather than looking at what's going on actually on the field or the court, and that's something that those that create the atmosphere in the venues, the arenas or stadiums, have to be cognizant of that and do what they can to make sure they have certain protocols that'll keep people jumping and keep people entertained. The entertainment dollar is something everybody's after. And being good competitively is step number one, and having fun has to be 1A.
Definitely. Talking to Ted Alexander, final few moments right here up until 12:30. Thanks, Ted, for his time, talent, and his treasure right here on News Talk 1650 on this April 8th. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. Don't forget gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. This show will be archived within 24 hours as well. Let's switch gears a little bit to baseball. Local product, Chris Finwood, still keeps on winning. 17-13, maybe not the mark he wanted, but still, a lot of people don't realize in baseball, Ted, they're playing right in the heart of basketball season in February, and these guys really are putting their hearts and soul out there in the winter months to get ready for this spring platform.
Oftentimes when you're a southern school and here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, we're kind of right on the cusp of north and south. We all know that for many different reasons. But boy, the spring everybody had here, I don't see a lot of daffodils blooming in early February around these parts, like oftentimes is the case. And it was nasty weather-wise. Now, you won't hear any of the Monarchs give that as an excuse. It's just a fact. And I don't know about you, but when I think of baseball playing as a kid, I think of warm summer days. And therefore, I played my best when it was warm and summer-like. And it's got to be hard when it's 33 degrees and you're having to blow on your hand more often than you're concentrating on the weather more than the game itself. It's been difficult, but they're trying to wind themselves into shape here. And after last year's at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, the bar's been raised a little bit, and these are key games coming up. Of course, beginning tonight against Virginia Commonwealth at 6 o'clock at the Bud.
That should be a great game. Of course, that was a former Sun Belt and CAA rival right there, talking to Ted Alexander, of course. And like you said, baseball, it's a long season. It's a grind. And these athletes definitely deserve a lot of respect for all their hard work that they do. All right, football. Hard to believe, Ted, a seventh year for the football team this fall, and the team just keeps on growing and growing. You look at the schedule way back in 2009 compared to 15, lights totally different compared to that product back in 2009, but really it just keeps on evolving, and that's a credit to Coach Wilder.
Oh, He's the architect that's built it all, and we've got the spring game coming up this Saturday at 3:00, where we'll see the first non-Taylor Heineke Monarch team in the last 4 years or so, and it's a continuing adventure. The team has had such great success, and the support's been so great with 41 straight sellouts, nothing but a sellout crowd at Foreman Field at SB Ballard Stadium, and the excitement's starting to build toward this Saturday, and then into the summer, and then the 2015 season as well.
Ted, what are your thoughts? I mean, this is going to be a different Old Dominion team where they've been dominated by quarterback play. You're hearing a lot by Lowry, the running back. But what are your thoughts about this upcoming team? Because it does seem like it's going to be more of a run-oriented team. And as you know, the running game is always ahead of the passing game, regardless the first couple games of the year.
Well, and you hope that the defense can make some improvements as well, and the athletes are getting better and better. And what we have to remember when thinking about this Old Dominion football program is the transition has been constant, from bringing football back to getting into the CAA to transitioning from FCS to FBS. Next year, full-blown Conference USA season, full-blown schedule for just the second year, and therefore you've got FBS recruits that are coming in and starting to play bigger and bigger roles, and the FCS players are matriculating, and so you've got a better student-athlete, better player, and so therefore you're going to be able to compete better. And as Taylor moves on to hopefully a professional career in football, the offense will transition as well, probably backing off the full-bore passing attack that we've had the last 4 years because of the quarterback. Bobby Wilder told me yesterday, he said, listen, you design your offense around what your quarterback can and can't do. Mm-hmm. Taylor was a wonderful rhythm passer and a great mind, and Schuler-Bentley or whoever takes over at quarterback, they'll tailor the offense around him. When you've got the Conference USA Freshman of the Year and running back Ray Lowry, you're going to start with him.
Sure, and of course, Ted, you open up on the road on September 5th, but then you got 3 straight home games. None of them are going to be easy. Of course, Norfolk State, a local rival, and of course, then ACC rival NC State, and then of course, you keep on going from there. But you open up on the road, and that might be kind of good to get the kinks out of that first game, because there's always a lot of nerves in that first game.
Oh, no doubt about it. And there'll probably be some nerves every game, because you go to Eastern Michigan to start the season, and it was a tightly contested game at SB Ballard Stadium this past year. You know, the Eagles are going to want to do something special in Ypsilanti to start things out, and everybody's 0-0. Everybody's tied for first place, and everybody has a chance at the national title before that first game. And so the Monarchs better be ready to play there, and then you come back to take on the Spartan squad that will see the Monarch game as their Super Bowl.
And Ted, I got to tell you, I've known you for a long time, and your broadcast mix is really good with a couple of the guys that you work with. My opinion is, Ted, 2's company, 3's a crowd in the booth. When I see 3 announcers on TV, that's even more difficult than doing it on radio, because you have to follow the pictures. But 2's company, 3's a crowd. I still believe in that motto in radio or TV. Your thoughts about that?
I think I tend to agree with you. It depends on the people you have involved. Sure. and the roles everybody can play, and those that do it really, really well make it seem seamless, and you don't even realize it. You're just hearing 3 different folks talk about what's going on. Those that don't do it very well seem like they're crashing and burning into each other all the time, and it's a distraction to what's going on.
But for the most part, you and Dave handle the games, the actual play-by-play color, and of course, and as well, you have a couple that do football as well. And it seems like it works out pretty well that way for you, at least.
No doubt. Dave Twardzik, the Hall of Famer and the NBA champ, is a really good analyst. And Andy Mishaw, the ODU grad who joins me for football and does some baseball broadcasts as well, he's also really good at getting in and getting out. He understands the game so well that he can break it on down into pablum form for those of us that need the schooling.
All right, Ted, go ahead and plug us anything you want to on Facebook or Twitter or any of the Monarch social media. Go ahead, my friend.
Well, it's just ODUsports.com is where everybody can follow the written and the video stories of Monarch Athletics. Of course, today at 3:00, the dedication ceremony for the Paul A. Keyes baseball hitting facility. Mm-hmm. It's a project that's been near and dear to ODU's and VCU's hearts for many years. It's come to fruition. It's a wonderful facility, especially when you've had a spring like we've had. That dedication's today at 3, and then the Monarchs and VCU at 6:00 tonight at the Butt.
Ted, you're a real gentleman. Of course, Paul Keyes, he went to Ferguson High School in Newport News as well. Ted, all the best, my friend. Give our best to everybody at Old Dominion, and we'll see you down the road. Look forward to it.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure. Ted Alexander right there, folks. The voice of the Monarchs right here on Sports Scene. Ken, it's always about connecting the fans, and that's what the fans want. They want content.
Absolutely, and Ted's such a good guy. He was always on top of things, very professional when he was over at Channel 3, a joy to watch there. And I think ODU was very, very, very fortunate to have him over at ODU as the voice of the Monarchs.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
And of course. All right, Sports Scene right here will roll on after these messages at Greg Bick on Twitter.
As we head into CBS News coming up here in about 30 seconds, we've got a wet forecast in store, so we'll button up that overcoat. Scattered showers today, 66. Scattered showers tonight, 54. Widely scattered showers, but showers nonetheless tomorrow with a high of 66. Then Friday should be fun. Afternoon thunderstorms, yikes, a high of 84. Partly cloudy on Saturday, 68. Some sunshine finally on Sunday, 64. And then mostly sunny for Monday, 71. Showers again on Tuesday with a high of 70. Those April showers bring May flowers. And also bringing us CBS News at 12:31 on AM 1650, The Answer.
CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kaith. And a day of protest in North Charleston, South Carolina after the shooting death of a black man by a white police officer, an incident captured on video.
If it had not been caught on this film, it would have been another justified dead black man.
The officer's been charged with murder, and Mayor Keith Summey visited with the victim Walter Scott's family today and apologized.
If you make a bad decision, don't care if you're behind the shield or just a citizen on the street, you have to live by that decision.
Family attorney L. Chris Stewart.
The officer said that Mr. Scott attacked him and pulled his taser and tried to use it on him, but somebody was watching.
Hallelujah.
There was a witness that came forward with the video.
It shows Scott being shot in the back as he tries to flee. Scott's brother Anthony.
All we wanted was the truth. And I think through the process, we've received the truth.
The FBI and Justice Department involved in the investigation. CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kathan.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
For over 25 years, people have counted on one name for all their residential and commercial moving needs: a friendly and affordable mover. No job is too big or too small, and they will assist you with your best interest in mind. Always providing free estimates, a friendly and affordable mover is a company you can count on. Have peace of mind on your next move with a friendly and affordable mover. Call 689-0935 or log on to lovemymover.com. Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in your mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road and on Eden Way North in Chesapeake for lunch and dinner. Like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is at Spaghetti Eddie's. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com Marketplace Pages.
And don't forget these highlights also, sports highlights on nnpstv.com, an interview show. Right there, go to nnpstv.com to see archive shows. And for Sports Scene, gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link on the homepage. Shop on the Marketplace sponsors. We're here live every Wednesday from 12 to 1 on the radio on 1650. Also, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer anywhere in the world. Don't forget we got our business spotlight scene coming up a little bit later, what teased me off, as well as sports highlights on nnpstv.com, as well as great guests presented by MiCasitaMexican.com and Blue Cafe. Kudos to JoJo White for making the Hall of Fame in the NBA. Great former Boston Celtic who played for Tommy Heinsohn. Of course, the Celtics now are trying to even just get in the playoffs for the NBA as well. So we want to welcome our next guest right here on Sports Scene. Let's welcome Ian Locke. We've had him on Sports Highlights, had him on this show, had him on when I was working at the game. He's been all over the place. He is the Media Relations Director for the Norfolk Tides. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Greg. How are you?
Very good. I guess it's getting closer and closer to the homestand, but the Tides got some business to do on the road first.
Yeah, we opened up. We had a kind of a soft open last night. We hosted the Norfolk State University Spartans in an exhibition game here last night. Kind of a dry run for our guys to get get their feet wet a little bit before the season starts. And the bus is actually leaving in about 20 minutes for our guys to head down to Charlotte. We open up a 9-game road trip before we come back home next Saturday, April 18th.
And the Orioles, of course, are off to a good start, too. That has to make the Tides happy as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anytime, I think our manager, Ron Johnson, will say a bunch of times if all the minor league affiliates lose, but the Orioles win, it's a good day for the organization. So, we do everything we can to make sure the Orioles, at the end of the day, our main goal is to make sure the Orioles are as good as they can be.
Ian, go ahead and plug all your Twitter handles. I know the Tides are really big on Twitter and social media.
Yeah, we're all over the place. I mean, our Twitter is at Norfolk Tides. We're also on Instagram, which is at Tides Baseball, and our Facebook page, Facebook Norfolk Tides, and we have a Pinterest page as well, and we're everywhere. So, anytime, we're also on Vine as well at Norfolk Tides. So anyone who wants to follow us on all those things, they're all different a little bit, but we love to put our social media stuff out there.
And I've always told our fans here, folks, you know this from following me on radio and TV over the years, that when you think about spring and summer, all right, what's to do in Hampton Roads? Well, the Tides are at the top of the list. We know the oceanfront, but you really can't go swimming till about June. The amusement parks are still a little cold, and who wants to go in the water on a water ride? But, restaurants are always there, concerts. But the Tides is the one thing in the spring, Ian, that people can really look forward to, that they don't have to worry about being frozen. I think it's smart that you guys are opening up in the road, because here it is today, Wednesday, it's still pretty chilly outside.
Yeah, I mean, we had our guys out there today. We had a quick workout before the team hit the road, and it was a little chilly. Some guys were in shorts, but I think they're just used to the Florida weather. But it's not a bad thing, honestly, for us to open on the road, especially with 9 games, because the warmer it is here, the better it is for us, attendance-wise, and comfort level for the fans and for the players. So the later we open up, we don't open up to the April 18th, and then we have a 9-game homestand before we go on the road again for 10 days. So it's very rare for us to have our second homestand starts May 8th, which is, by that point, hopefully a really nice weather situation for us. So, we have this first homestand where it might be, there might be April nights could be a little chilly, but we start our games in April during the week at 6:35, to give a little more sunlight, a little warmer out for fans to enjoy. And then, when they're here, if it is cold or, really hot in the summer for that matter, we do have the restaurant, which is climate controlled, and some of the suite options as well that, keep you nice and comfortable while you're watching the game.
Don't forget at Greg Bick on Twitter, talking to Ian Locke right here on Sports Scene live on the radio at 12:37. And you've had a consistent manager there, Ron Johnson, for several years now. Yeah,
it's great. It's kind of weird to see AAA. There's a lot of turnover, but this is Ron Johnson's 4th year here with the Tides, and you've met him, you talked to him. He's a great, such a nice, easy person to talk to, but also a great manager, and he does a great job incorporating, all the player moves, the roster transactions that the Orioles have with us. We have a starting pitcher set to go, and if the Orioles need him, sometimes 30 minutes before a game, we got to scratch our starter. And RJ does a great job of, keeping our players ready, knowing that, hey, they're just a phone call or a sprained ankle away from, spending one night in Norfolk and the next night in Baltimore.
Talking to Ian Locke of the Norfolk Tides, Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us live on 1650. Also, tunein.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Of course, we interviewed Caleb Joseph and Ron last year on Sports Highlights. And as soon as we interviewed Caleb Joseph, I went to an Orioles game. I was working for Fox as a stage manager. I said, Caleb, remember me? I just interviewed you a few weeks ago. I said, yeah. It was hard to believe how well he evolved right after we did that interview with him.
Yeah, you're great luck. Apparently,
I know.
Gotta get more guys on with you. But Caleb had for a while, for whatever reason, had the reputation as he could hit in the minor leagues, and but wasn't necessarily a defensive guy. And that was the one area that they, all the coaches and managers seemed to say that he needed to work on. And lo and behold, he some situations opened up there. Where Matt Wieters got hurt, and Caleb got the call, and he performed great. I mean, he was. I don't think he had enough attempts to qualify. He was a couple, stolen base attempts short, but he would have led the American League, All-American League catchers in throwing out base runners last year. And, he hit got a really slow start, but then he hit a home run, I think, in 5 straight games at one point last year. And so his offense came around, and he started the year. He's been the opening day starting catcher for the Orioles. He started the last 2 nights and threw out a runner the first game. So he's really developed his game from behind the, as a backstop defensively, and his offensive game's coming around too. So he's been he's been a great surprise to have up there with the Orioles.
Yeah, talking a little baseball, Ian Locke and Ian, you talk about it too. It must be tough for a player to play in the minor leagues, get a taste of the major leagues, and then go back to the minors, because once you get there, you really don't want to come back. But sometimes for rehab or injuries or just depth alone, there's nothing wrong with it just to get your kinks out as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. We've seen the last couple of years, too, as the Orioles have gotten better, our players have gotten a little better, too. And you see, certain guys, like, an example, like Nolan Reimold this year, who's going to start the year with us. He's got a proven track record in the major leagues, but just the Orioles have so much talent on their team at this point that for, whatever reason, Nolan got, I don't want to say stuck here, but he's going to start the year with us. And he knows he's a professional. He knows, that he's only a phone call away. Again, if anyone goes down up there, unfortunately, they have guys here to step up, whether it be Nolan Reimold or, some of the younger pitchers that they have here. They know that we've had a lot of guys that re-signed with the Orioles in the past, and Nolan's one of those guys that they know they're comfortable with the Orioles organization, and the Orioles kind of have a reputation as an organization that will call guys up in the minor leagues, and it's not necessarily a 25-man roster with the Orioles. It's more of almost like a 50-man roster where you incorporate the entire Tides roster and the Orioles together, and that's one large unit that makes sure the Orioles do well.
And you have it on your website, too. Of course, 19 players played both for the Tides and Orioles last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. When we've been an Orioles affiliate since 2007 was the first year we've done that. We've had 142 players have played for both over that time frame, which is, an average of about 20-25 a year. So, it's great to see, last year, the opening day starter, Chris Tillman, was with us, the Tides, for almost 4 years. He was up and down a little bit, and, the first couple chances he got with the Orioles, he struggled, but, he was here for 3 years, and sometimes you say, hey, a guy spent so much time at AAA, he's not going to make it, but Tillman, I think, has proven that, he's an all-star now, and he's, opening day started the last couple of years, so he's been great.
CBS News coming up at 1 o'clock. Dennis Prager afterwards, then Glenn Beck. This is Sports Scene every Wednesday from 12 to 1 right here on News Talk 1650. Also, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. And Ian, we were talking to Ted Alexander about the fan experience, and that's so big today compared to 10 or 20 years ago where the fan might just go to a game, get a hot dog, get a Coke, and leave. Now it's social media experience. It's the video board. It's the interaction with players, maybe autograph, running the bases. We mentioned the social media is really, really huge. Baseball, you really don't see, you can only get so close to the players as far as sitting arrangements. Unlike basketball, you can sit right there at the court side, but so much is geared toward, like we just said, tune in, the online streaming, websites. If nothing else, Ian, your website supersedes anything in all media because you got so much information on there, and that's what the fans want. They want a lot of content.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, when I first started doing this, over 10 years ago, it was kind of, you had your newspapers and your TV, and that was
sure.
A little bit of the website, but that wasn't much. And now it's, like I said, at the end of the night, I find myself updating Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our website. We have video highlights on our website. We have our own YouTube channel where fans can watch highlights if they didn't get a chance to watch the game. We also have 2 mobile apps that fans can download. One's called First Pitch, and the other one is Inside the Park. And it's crazy. I'll watch tomorrow night's Tides game when we open up in Charlotte. I can watch it on my phone if I wanted to, which is kind of crazy to see. I can get crystal clear video of a game, 6.5 hours away just on my phone, no problem, and watch it from the comfort of my living room. So, we have all those options there. And then we also, we know it's a fan-friendly ballpark here at Harbor Park. So we want fans to be able to come here and enjoy not just the baseball, but we opened up a brand new barbecue stand this year called Boathouse Barbecue, which is going to be serving some pulled pork barbecue and some brisket and all, mac and cheese, green beans, some great stuff that I've been fortunate enough to sample here in the last couple of days as well. So, and then we have a craft beer stand, which is local craft beers like Smart Mouth Brewery and the like that are local that fans really seem to enjoy. And so we try and keep it fresh. We try and do a bunch of stuff here at the park that the fans will enjoy, and they want to come back and enjoy just not the baseball, but everything else that comes with it.
And this is the South, folks. I always tell my friends that own a lot of restaurants that I deal with on the advertising front, too, as well. People want a fish sandwich. They want barbecue. They want liver and onions. They want that South comfort food. And one thing about Harbor Park, and Ken Young and you have done so well, is you guys got a lot of concessions.
Yeah, we have a ton of options. I mean, that's, like I mentioned, the barbecue, but there's a Hot Dog Nation stand that's going to be new this year that's all sorts of different types of hot dogs that you can get. Obviously there's the sausage carts, there's We have a deep fried Twinkie stand if you want to, be not so healthy. And we have the restaurant, like I mentioned before, that has a full buffet every night if you want to, sit inside, watch, the Tide games on TV. But, maybe there's an Orioles game you want to watch too. They have the TVs in there. They got a full bar. We also have the party deck, shock top party deck out in right field, which has kind of been a really big hit over the last couple of years since it was built, where you have a great view of the water and it's some drinks, like orange crushes and some fresh drinks out there where high top tables, and you can watch the game, maybe heckle the right fielder from the other team, if you want to have fun like that. But a whole bunch of different options here. So we try and get something for everybody.
Let's talk about ticket prices, Ian, this year.
Yep, they stay the same. So I believe it's $11 in advance and $13 day of game for a box seat. And we have box seats and reserve seats. We also have some discounts for the military as well as, group sales discounts as well. So I think we can have any group of, I want to say it's 25 or more in advance, and you can get some great discounts as well. So we also have a bunch of promotional nights with the fireworks and things throughout the year. So that whole list is available on our website, but we have some of the favorites are Turn Back the Clock night, where we offer 50-cent hot dogs, popcorns, and sodas. It's always a big one. We have, I think, 12 fireworks nights this year.
Wow,
12. Yeah, so, most of those are on Saturday nights, but 12 fireworks nights, I don't think we have one on opening night, but the April 25th is our first fireworks night of the year. And we also have two, Bark in the Park has been a big thing where fans can bring their dogs to the park and hang out. And, we do all sorts of dog-centric things where we have, different vendors and things on the concourse giving away dog treats. And it's just fun to have, bring your dog out to the ballpark on I think that's a Sunday afternoon where, you just hang out with your dog and your dog gets to meet other dogs and you watch some baseball. It's a pretty good thing to do.
Well, Ian, wrap it up. Give us the first home date for the Tides fans here at Harbor Park. And Harbor Park, it's hard to believe, so many decades old now.
Yeah, I think this is our 23rd year, but the place I'm actually looking out over the field right now. It looks great. It's hard to believe that it's 23 years because they've been done such a good job keeping it up. But we are home on April 18th. That's our first home opener. Opening night, the first 10,000 fans will get a magnet schedule of the season, courtesy of John's Tax Service. And then we have that we're home for 9 days there, so April 18th through April 26th. And then we go on the road a little bit, and then we have come back in May. But if anyone wants to download, our schedule, if you go to our website, we also have those apps that I mentioned before. Or just give us a call, 622-2222. If you're looking for tickets, all our tickets are on sale now. So we'd love to have you out here.
Very good, Ian. All the best, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. It's baseball season's here, so at least we know it's spring, if nothing else, because the Tides are playing.
Spring is sprung, and summer's around the corner, and good weather means good baseball.
All the best, my friend. We'll talk to you very soon, Ian. Thank you.
Take care, Greg. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. My pleasure. All right, Ian Locke right there. And, of course, people love the Tides here, Ken. You remember when they played at Met Park for years?
I loved Met Park.
I did too. I liked
Partly
it.
because I had a friend who had first row seats right there at the first base.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was like, you couldn't ask for a better seat. That was awesome. And at the old Met Park, you were right there at him. You could literally reach over and tap the first baseman on the shoulder and share a hot dog, I guess, if you could. And the free hot dog nights were always great too. But the Harbor Park, I said Met Park, Harbor Park now, it's gorgeous. They did such a nice job putting that together. It's scenic. It's a great location. It's very well done. All the concessions are done right. They really did a good job in putting that together. So I kind of miss the old place, but man, you can't beat the new place.
Yeah, the old Met Park was like a bridge of Hampton Roads because it was right there on Military by 64, so it was convenient to the peninsula and the south side both. But, of course, the concessions involved, everything has evolved, but that was a lot of fun. That really was the heart and soul of things to do in the summer back during the Met Park days. And, of course, Harbor Park's evolved as well. And with the station you and I used to work at, we could walk right there and literally do a game.
Walk right over there.
And some days there would be days that we would like to walk right over there, too.
Just to get away from it.
All right, folks, this is Sports Scene. I want to thank Ian Locke. I want to thank Ted Alexander. We got a little bit more coming up here, right here on News Talk 1650. Don't forget CBS News at the top of the hour. At Greg Bick on Twitter. Back after this. Mark your calendar for May 28th to May 31st. The Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy Greek food, desserts, beverages, dancing, entertainment, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the signature event of the year in Hampton Roads. The Greek Festival is located at 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
I knew my rent was gonna be late about a week ago. I worked my ass off, but I still can't pay it though. But I got just enough to get off in this club and have me a good time before my time is up. Hey, let's get it now.
All right, welcome back live right here on the radio, 1251, News Talk 1650 in Hampton Roads, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen to your phone or computer. This is Sports Scene. Save the date every Wednesday from 12 to 1. And, of course, this is one of our favorite segments, the Business Spotlight Scene presented by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. And, of course, sweeter side of things, let's welcome Dawn Eskins. We've had her on before. Dawn, how are you today?
Hey, we're doing great. So excited about Duke. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, really? You are? So, yeah, Duke, 5 championships for Coach K. He just keeps on winning, doesn't he?
We just don't even know what to do. Carolina Cupcakery is excited.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about your cupcake establishment. You guys are everywhere. You're transparent. And, of course, you see a lot of girls now at weddings getting cupcakes, too.
Oh, yeah. We do about 200 weddings a year. All those people that walk in and sample cupcakes in the shop, that's really where it translates to, and we love weddings.
Well, let's talk about your locations.
Okay. So we're located on 1200 Battlefield Boulevard, which is across the street from Starbucks, a great landmark, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other one is right on the corner of 21st and Colley in Ghent and Norfolk, and you almost can't miss that one either. But, yeah, 2 great locations near everybody.
And the one thing, too, about cupcakes, folks, I mean, you can just take one and have it after lunch or dinner, or just because it's that you have a little fruit maybe at 9 o'clock at night and have a cupcake. There's really never a bad time, Dawn, to have a cupcake.
Oh, we agree, and it's certainly a tough job.
Oh, I bet, yes.
Yeah.
And I was, back in the day, you would see just vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Oh, my goodness, how flavors and toppings have changed and icings over the years.
Well, sure. We've got about 280 flavors now.
Wow.
We've got our new spring menu just came out, and one of the items on there, if I've got a minute.
Sure.
We're featuring a flavor called Bacon Candy that just won Best Dessert at the Taste of Hampton Roads.
Right.
So guess what's in it?
Bacon.
Bacon, exactly. We are loving this flavor. It is a butter bacon cake with a bacon crumble on top that's like mini chips and sea salt, and it's just lots and lots of good stuff. And I don't know if you realize, but we spike cupcakes too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, sugar and liqueur.
A little bourbon too?
Oh yeah, we're working on a bourbon. You're the third person that's asked about a bourbon cupcake.
Wow.
We're going to have to get together on that and figure it out, huh?
Good karma there too. Talking to Dawn Eskins right here of Carolina Cupcakery. How did you get the name?
Oh, well, actually, we started baking in our kitchen in Camden, North Carolina, right across the state line.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my 2 girls, we baked at home for about a year and then reached out and went to look for a storefront. No one would rent us space. They thought it was the dumbest thing they had ever heard.
Right.
And we were going to end up in Carolina, and someone saw the light and brought us up to Edinburgh, which that location, of course, is now on Battlefield.
Yeah, give us the full name. Of course, you're on Facebook as well.
We are Carolina Cupcakery. We are Hampton Roads' original cupcake bakery.
And, of course, you're on Facebook and, of course, social media. That's really good as far as getting the word out, right, Dawn?
they love to follow for flavor ideas, for contests, for different things that we do. We just did a photo shoot this morning with a large yellow duck for the rubber duck race that's coming up in Chesapeake. So a lot of interesting things on there.
Yeah, and of course, Dawn does a lot of TV interviews as well. And of course, Dawn, give us all the relevant phone numbers and the addresses again so people can visit these wonderful locations.
Absolutely. Our Battlefield location is 1200 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. That phone number is 204-4773 to call the kitchen direct. If you want to go to the Ghent store, it is 2019 Colley Avenue, and that phone number is 769-7388.
Very good. Of course, you got Mother's Day coming up. You got all kinds of stuff, Father's Day, graduations, both high school and college, and, of course, wedding season, too.
Sure, and what people don't realize is that we're the only ODU licensed bakery in the area. So if you want that ODU logo on a cake, we're the only ones really that can do it.
There you go. Give us that website again.
It's CarolinaCupcakery.com.
Don, all the best. Thank you so much for being a trooper, and we look forward to talking to you very soon.
Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Okay, Dawn Eskins right there from Carolina Cupcakery. Just sounds good, Kenny.
I have to go get some cupcakes now.
Forget lunch. Just get cupcakes.
Yeah, the heck with lunch.
All right.
Cupcakes. Bacon cupcake. Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
We'll get back to what teased me off in a second.
The place in Newport News for traditional home-style Mexican food is Chucho's in Oyster Point. Chucho's has sizzling fajitas, burritos, seafood dishes, and the best tacos on the East Coast, as well as fabulous margaritas. All of your Mexican favorites, a dining destination. Call 873-0486 and go to 605 Pilot House Drive in Newport News for a delicious lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Explore the flavor of Chucho's today. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. What tees you off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
And Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Ken, going to buy a snack and being charged for an operator error with the wrong item in the wrong place, saying, oh, sorry, we didn't have time to move the Slim Jim, for example.
Good grief, you're kidding me.
No. People speeding in work zones and then cutting you off in the work zones.
And anywhere as school zones. It's when I wish I had an RPG in my shoulder so I could just take them right out.
Tunnels being blocked anytime, but especially during rush hour. Really, folks?
They did one time not too long, about a week ago, for emergency pothole repair. One guy in a pickup truck raced out, poured some patch into the hole, tamped it down with a shovel. Meanwhile, the cars are backing up all the way to Graham Street heading westbound during rush hour.
Right.
Unbelievable.
That's why the peninsula and the south side, it's hard to get anywhere these days, no matter how many tunnels we got. Yeah. Ken, this springtime, so you know what that means. Excessive PDA. Folks, you see it more when the weather is nice. Really, how about behind closed doors?
Well, when you're young and frisky, you can't help your hormones.
I guess not, of course. And, of course, this time of the year, you'd have to dial customer service like you do 24/7. Ken, dial 1, dial 2, dial 3. Oh, by the way, let's dial 9 after you hear a 5-minute spiel about their website, which we already know, but we're calling. You know that. Mid-level managers, Ken, who are empowered.
Oh, yeah.
You know they are.
Yeah, they feel like they're the king of the walk, and come on, guys, you're just the middle guy.
Yeah, exactly. They're telling you when to go in and out of the store. Really? Okay. Ken, how about unsupervised minors? I'm sorry, you're a minor till you're 18.
Yeah.
You are. People forget that. You're a minor at 17 still.
Yeah, you have to be supervised.
Right.
Probably should be supervised till you're about 25 in some cases.
Ken, I know you don't like this. Bringing toddlers to a movie.
And it depends on the toddlers. We've got babies that will sit through a movie, but there are some kids that couldn't sit still if they had their hands and feet duct taped. So, it depends on the child.
And trying to look at your bill at a movie or a comedy club with the majority of the lights not on, that's really difficult, folks. You're using your cell phone, which you're not supposed to use anyway, to look at the bill.
The better establishments have the wait staff with flashlights to help illuminate them. The bad ones don't, so you know where to go.
Ken, televangelists on the radio, TV, whatever. The one good one was Robert Schuller. My dad really liked him, but they're trying to be too creative, and it's just not working.
Yeah, I do see some off-the-wall things. It's like, get the message out, forget all the circus.
Right, we don't want to see your plaid shirt either. And how about buy one, get one free? It's already marked up so much, so you're not getting the buy one, get one free anyway, no matter what it is. Or buy 3 tires, get one free, really. Anyway, I want to thank our great guests, of course, Ted Alexander, Ian Locke, Dawn Eskins. Don't forget to go to GJBTV.com, hit the YouTube link for Sports Scene. We'll be back live on the radio next Wednesday from 12 to 1 on 1650 and tunein.com. Type in WHKT. WHKT. I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon.